Hi my dear friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we will watch a very interesting story about joint formation that I know you will love it. Before watching this movie, I would like you to please subscribe so that whenever I come up with a new video, you can receive that. And remember to share this video later. Time for movie. Part 1. After enduring the most difficult years of his life, how Doros is now cancer-free. He says his strategies of how to reach this breakthrough, how to use the tools you have inside of you to conquer your greatest challenges. You don't let the fact that self-control completely your emotional well-being.
You've got about a week to live if you don't start chemo. Maybe a few days. He said, look, a week ago you were healthy. Now your heart, lung, and kidney is all on the verge of failing. He said, this is one of the most aggressive, fast-acting cancers, and you literally have a few days, maybe a week. And I thought it was a scare tactic, right? I was like, like in my head, like kind of middle finger, like, oh, I don't, I said, give me 24 hours, let me go home and I'll find out the truth from Google. And so I consulted Dr. Google, right? And basically found out that, he wasn't exaggerating. So I found out that was true. So I basically almost, against my will, like everything, my values, my beliefs, I had to go get chemo. It's the most intensive chemotherapy regimen. To my knowledge, that there is. And so that even made it harder. And it's a 20 to 30% survival rate. So I go, so you're going to put this poison in me, and I have a 20 to 30% chance of surviving, and the side effects on one of the chemos in particular, so I had acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The side effect may cause leukemia. And so what I ended up doing, because I felt like my hand was kind of, arm was forced, I had to do the chemo. So here's what I did though, and I think this is what not only saved my life, and the chemo I believe definitely saved my life, but my symptoms, and it was hard, but I had an easier time than a lot of people that were getting 1 hour of chemo a month when I was getting, 70 or 80 or 100, whatever it was. And what I did is I did everything holistically that I would do if I weren't doing chemotherapy.
You deal with those days. How did you bounce back, rebuild your mindset?
So here's what's interesting is I experience negative emotions, right? And the difference is, what do you do with that emotion, right? So the emotion isn't the problem. It's what do you do with it? And so one thing that I've learned, and it's really powerful, and I learned this probably just in the last few years. In fact, maybe it was a cancer lesson, I don't know. But it was that when I have a negative emotion, you wake up and you feel depressed. I'm like, what? Like I feel just horrible. I feel I have no confidence today. And I don't know why, right? Like hormones or something's going on, right? And what I realize is that it's not that emotional state that's the biggest problem for most people, myself included. It's what we do with that state, and we usually judge it, and we get afraid. Why do I feel this way? And the problem is, human beings, we're not good at space, like understanding, what's the word, spatial awareness in terms of time. We think the way we feel is just how life is, right? Like it's this all-encompassing, like, oh my God, this is how I'm going to feel the rest of my life. Like we don't understand that. No, this is temporary. It might last a day. It might last 5 minutes. Don't make a big deal out of it. Right? That's the most simple way I can put it. Don't make a big deal out of it. So when I had negative emotions with cancer, I just didn't make a big deal out of it. I go, this is temporary. So when you feel in a negative state, simply just remind yourself it's temporary, and even just smile and go, man, this sucks. Hopefully it's not too long that I feel like this, because I don't enjoy it. But don't give it a lot of importance. Don't give that temporary emotional state a significant amount of significance, right? Just go, this is temporary, I accept it, whatever. And so, there were a lot of hard days, and there were days where, I had this infection where my entire face swelled up like the Elephant Man. My eye was completely shut. I had horrific migraines. When you're in physical pain, I'm like anybody. I wasn't super positive. I was like, but I was as positive as it's always be as positive as you can possibly be, even when you're going through the most difficult time in your life. And that was the thing with cancer, with the car accident, and that's the lesson for everybody, is that we can choose to be, consciously choose to be. First you accept what you can't change, and then you go, what emotion will best serve me? And I think more often than not, it's gratitude and happiness for the most part, or optimism, is an emotion. But we can be the happiest and the most grateful we've ever been while we are going through the most difficult, painful, scary time in our lives. And here's the thing, it just makes it that much easier. It doesn't mean that it doesn't suck, but it means that you're not letting the fact that it sucks completely control your emotional well-being. You're going, this sucks, but I'm going to make the best of it.
If you realize how powerful your thoughts are, you would never think a negative thought again. Part 2. Ruth Liptop's American biologist gives you the tools to make meaningful, lasting changes in your life. You're not the victim of your genes. You can control your genes and your health.
I will show you the science of actually how the cells work, and you will have more knowledge than most doctors in the world today because they still believe in the genes. If you are healthy, your behavior is good. But if you have a dis-ease, the behavior is not right. What can cause disease? There's only two things. Either the protein is bad or the signal is bad. People with bad proteins got them from birth defects. Because if you were born with defective genes and the genes make the protein, then the protein is defective. But less than 5% of the population has birth defects. That means 95% of the people should have a healthy, happy existence. But if you were one of the healthy people and now you are sick, what would cause the problem? There are only 3 ways to mess up the signal. 1, trauma. So if I fall off the stage and wrench my back, the signal is interfered with. Number 2, toxins. If the chemistry is not good inside the body, the signal cannot be passed through bad chemicals. Both of these interfere with the propagation of the signal. But the third one is thought, the mind. There's nothing wrong with the body. It's just sending the wrong signal at the wrong time. So if you change your thought and your mind, you can change the biology. And the mind is the primary cause of illness on our planet today. What is the name of the switch that controls your biology? Perception. And why that's important is that it's you and how you see the world that controls the biology. We have been given misinformation. When people say a gene turned on and a gene turned off, it sounds like the genes make decisions. Here is the simple truth. A gene is a blueprint. The gene does no control. The gene is never on or off. The gene is read or not read. And what do you think controls the signal? Perception. You are not the victim of your genes because you control your genes. One gene blueprint using epigenetic control can make 30,000 different proteins from one blueprint. So you can come with good genes and then through epigenetic control create cancer, diabetes, and it has nothing to do with the genes but epigenetic control. It returns responsibility for your health to you, and you are not the victim of your genes. Yet every day the media still tells you that genes control this and genes control that. And then people get nervous about what genes are in their family. And as Greg Braden said before, if you look for the disease, you can create the disease through epigenetics. Right now, it appears that about 95% of cancer is not because of mutant genes, but because of epigenetic control. And it can be passed from parent to child like genes, but the difference is you can change your epigenetics at any time. If you change your perception, you change the reading of your genes. If someone tells you you're going to have a disease and you believe that, then you can create the disease. So when you look at yourself, you're not a single entity, but you are a community of 50 trillion cells. But it's important to understand the word community. Every cell is intelligent, but when they're in a community, they give up their personal intelligence and respond to the central voice. In that community, that a cell must follow what the central voice is. And if the central voice says to die, the cells will die. The central voice is the mind. There are signals from the environment, the internal and external environment. The brain, the function of the brain is to perceive the signals and then interpret those signals and then send the information to the cells to control the behavior. Many of you have heard about the drug Prozac. Every year, billions of dollars are spent on buying Prozac. And here's a surprise, that the Prozac is no better than a sugar pill, so that it is a placebo drug. And yet the people who take it believe in the drug so much, it makes them better. So if you believe that something is good for you, it will be good. And if you believe that it's harmful for you, it will be bad. So the question is, if we are so able to be healthy and young, why do we get sick? And one of the most important reasons is stress. And the function of the stress hormones is to take the energy of the body and get it all to run and fight. So the stress hormones will shut off the functions of things that will not be needed in fight or flight. One of the most important uses of energy in the body is the immune system. Stress hormones shut off the immune system. And the significance is every one of you right now is infected with almost all of the disease germs that humans have. Right now, if I take a blood sample, I will show you you all have viruses and bacteria and parasites. And you might say, well, if I'm infected, then why am I not sick? Because if your immune system is working properly, it will suppress these parasites and germs. But the moment you start to shut off the immune system, then these organisms begin to start growing again. So the idea that you catch a disease is not really true. You already have the disease. And the medical people call these germs and parasites opportunistic organisms. So if you are under stress and you shut off the immune system, then you give these organisms the opportunity to then make the disease. And yet, when we get some of these diseases, we go to the medical doctor and they give us drugs to kill the germs and the bacteria. Well, this is very helpful if the disease is going very quickly. That was not the problem in the first place. The problem was stress that shut off the immune system. So to get healing is, okay, treat the disease, but also treat effects are exactly the same in your health. One will heal you and the other can make you sick. The point is that negative thinking can create all the effects of chemotherapy. Now think about this. If a doctor tells you you have a disease, or the doctor tells you you're going to die, and you believe the doctor because he's a professional, the belief will give you a disease and can cause you to die. So belief becomes an important part of medicine. And this one group works themselves up into a state of ecstasy, religious ecstasy, and they believe God protects them. And so they will work with snakes, poisonous snakes like rattlesnakes, and they will even get bitten by the snake, and nothing happens to them. Now look at this though. Some of them will drink strychnine in toxic doses, and when they're in that state of belief, it does not affect them. So if you can drink toxic poison, then why do we worry so much about the toxins or the food and the air and all that? Because we have a belief that the toxins can kill us. And even on the cigarettes, on the package, it tells you this will kill you. But even though I know this, I will not drink strychnine. And why? Because my belief is not as strong as their belief. So if we were growing up and programmed with stronger beliefs, we would be more powerful than we are now. Belief is important about everything, including our health and our aging and the world that we live in. This is a picture of some beautiful women that dance in what is called the Palm Springs Follies. And I ask, what do you think is unusual about these women? They have arms, but they're in red gloves against the red, so it's hard to see. What is unusual? Their ages. To 75 years old. Aging is not in their belief because they have a passion to dance, and the passion keeps them young and alive and healthy. But most of us see other people grow old and expect that we must grow old like they do. And then a more important factor that Greg has talked about, belief becomes part of the field. So while you might want to believe you can stay young, the belief of everyone around you is more powerful and will get you to get old. So the question is, if we are so able to be healthy and young, why do we get sick? And one of the most important reasons is stress. I will now show you about how stress works using cells and then people. So I put cells in a petri dish and I split the group into two sets. In one set, I put nutrients in front of the cells. The other, I put toxins in front of the cell. I put them back in the incubator, and I come back later and take them out. Where do you think the cells are in each experiment? When you come back, when nutrients are in the cells, in the dish, the cells move toward the signals as positive growth signals. But when toxins are in the dish, the cells move away from the threatening negative signals. So when the cells see something that gives growth, they move to the signal with their arms open to take it in. But if the cells see toxins, then what they do is they move away from the signal and close themselves down. Cells cannot be open and closed at the same time. Cells cannot move forwards and backwards at the same time. The conclusion, cells can be in growth or they can be in protection, but they can't be in both at the same time.
The power to heal your life, and you need to know that we think so often that we are helpless, but we are not. We always have the power of our minds. Claim and consciously use your power. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. Miracles always happen when... Thank you for watching my video. Please remember to subscribe because my next video will be very interesting. I don't want you to miss that. And also remember to share this video so that everybody can enjoy the message of transformation. See you in my next video. May you have a fabulous day.